Tiki, we're joined now by a guy that we like a lot. He's smart, he's cool, he's funny, he's connected. We haven't had him on the show in a while. Longtime NBA vet, Big Three as well, doing his thing on radio and TV, multiple platforms. Ryan Hollins, what up, Ryan? How you doing, man?
What is going on, fellas? It's been a minute.
Oh my God, Ryan! It has been more than a minute, my man. More than a minute.
Hey, Ryan, we know what the All-Star break is all about in the NBA. As much as it is, let's see the guys play a game or slam dunk or whatever, it's 3-point shooting. It's about the parties and the hanging out, the being like in the same city with your boys, and that's not going to exist. Is this more the reason why these guys don't want to do this? Because it's why travel just to go play another game? Because that's just like the regular season. That's what it feels like.
Strip joints aren't open, right?
No, in Atlanta they are.
That's right. That's right.
Who are we talking about? Let's say I'm LeBron James. This is going to be a tough call. Commish, you owe me for it, okay? If you're a guy who's likely going to be a first-time All-Star in Zach LaVine, he's going to be elated at the opportunity. And he's worked his tail off amongst very, very trying conditions, and he should be rewarded for it in being an All-Star. So, go ask Zach LaVine if he thinks they should be taking All-Star off. Or guys don't want to play. He's like, man, I'm balling. This is my first time in the dance. So take care of me. But I understand from a league perspective, there's so much money that has been lost already, literally. And I'm not just talking NBA, and I know no one necessarily wants to hear the woes of the NBA or these billion-dollar leagues. But the reality is you've got to find a way to recoup this money. And if you're able to play games, step in and have an all-star. And I can tell you one thing, this contact tracing is probably going to be done away with, at least for that weekend. All-Star weekend. It's going to be tough to hold these guys in, man.
I hear you. By the way, it's not just Zach LaVine who is a deserving All-Star. Julius Randle as well. I gotta give you a stat. I mean, this is one of the most incredible basketball stats I've seen in a while. We all know Julius, and I'm a Knicks guy, but I also understand the Knicks have been terrible. But Julius Randle has been playing so well.
You've been waiting. Of course you're Nick.
What? You want me to abandon ship like Barber? I stick with my bad teams, Hollins.
I was never a Knicks fan. What are you talking about? I grew up in Southwest Virginia.
Yeah. But listen to this stat for Julius Randle. This is mind-bending. Julius Randle is the fifth player in NBA history to total at least 550 points, 275 rebounds, and 145 assists over their team's first 25 games. The other four, Kareem, Oscar, Wilt, and KG. Julius Randle better be an all-star is what I'm saying, right?
Listen, what? I'm not mad if Julius Randle makes it at all. Maybe they check in the wins and losses. Maybe there's going to be some COVID protocol where he slides in, But
what?
I definitely agree, and I couldn't be happier for Julius. He's having a heck of a year. Listen, I just don't think it's always guaranteed, guys. I got to look at it. You got to assume the Nets are going to get 3. Philly's going to get 2. I haven't looked at the list. I'm pro Julius being in there, but guys,
okay.
There's snubs, and the snubs get ugly. Okay, so just prepare yourself and think about a guy like Julius Randle. Remember Damian Lillard early in his years. These guys get snubbed the first time they should make it around. So. Prepare your hearts and souls for Julius Randle possibly not making it, guys.
Right. I got to tell you, no, Teak, that is a pretty good point. I still think he'll make it, but I certainly take that under advisement. Let me ask you this, though. Forget about the All-Star game with Randle. It's contractually very interesting because they kind of took a flyer on him, right? And he got, at that point, a good deal for him, but at this point, a very below-market deal. Next year is a team option for like 21 or 22 million, very low based on his production. At this point, forget about the All-Star game. If you're the Knicks, Thibodeau, Leon Rose, new day, hopefully the sun's going to start shining on us, do you move forward with him as a primary piece of the puzzle and eventually try to re-sign him, or do you trade him while his value is very high?
No, right now, if you're the New York Knicks, you got to hold on to the talent you have. You struck out in free agency for the last, 10, 15. I got to think, what's the last big-time free agent?
Amari
Stoudemire, right?
Yeah, Amari,
so,
yep.
You get a homegrown guy, you got to hold on to him, you got to develop him. I think what Julius is around 25, 26 years old. I'm not exact there.
He's 26.
He's 26. You got to hold on to a guy like Julius Randle. You don't move him. And now let's say, I got to think of an all-star who may think of New York. Let's say there's an all-star thinking of New York. You don't have a bare cupboard there. You have an asset. Go ahead and look at the Clippers. You go, why would the Clippers go and sign Paul George? The Clippers signed Paul George because you had to maintain Paul George as an asset. You traded for him in free agency, and now you got to make good on it. So Julius Randle, absolutely pick the option up next.
I like it. I agree with you, by the way.
Ryan, tell us about the Nets and if they can pull through some of these struggles. Now, on certain nights, they look amazing. And other nights, it's kind of like, all right, defense optional day. Maybe we can outscore you, but we probably can't, and we're going to lose. Like this, I don't think they're. I guess we'll call them growing pains, but I don't know how you fix them in the long term. Do you see it any different?
Oh, yeah. Listen, man, the hardest thing in today's NBA to do is to score the basketball. You can go and find a defender a dime a dozen, and I hate to say it like that. I mean, the Lakers picked up Dwight Howard at the last hour last year, and this guy was a guy who started in the playoffs and played significant minutes in the finals for the NBA champs. So the one thing that you're going to see from Sean Marks and those guys, they're going to scour that waiver wire roster in the budget beast and the guys who are going to be getting bought out the buyout market. They're going to be all over it. But the hardest thing to do, see, Tiki, I know in football you got to have your O-line, your D-line. The O-line sucks, Kansas City Chiefs, you're not going to be able to get it through. We're not going there, okay? The toughest thing at basketball to do is find someone who can put the ball in the basket, okay? Because in playoff basketball, everybody knows your plays. Everybody knows your sets. And a star can get his against playoff defense, and that's where stars are stars, and they got those guys on rosters. You can find that Ryan Hollins is to play some defense, okay? You can figure that. You can fill in the rest of the blanks.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Don't sell yourself short, man. I mean, you only played on 27 teams.
Listen, but I was proud to set screens for Paul Pierce and Chris Paul. And
damn right.
Like that, man. I was proud of it, baby.
Damn right. You should be. We're talking to Ryan Hollins, former NBA center, one of the good guys, UCLA analyst. He's the whole package. All right. How serious do we need to take the Utah Jazz?
You know, and it's going to break my heart. The guys, they're going to be an excellent regular season team, possibly at best get a great seed, make it to the second round of the playoffs. You throw a party if they made it to a conference finals and knocked off like the Clippers or someone like that on their way.
Mm-hmm.
But ultimately, this is a team that is not built for success because you don't win. Guys, blasphemy coming right now real quick. You don't win with centers in the NBA. So they're a very traditional team.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to be tough about Utah, where we're applauding what we're doing. Rudy Gobert absolutely is worth all the money in the world. We're happy for him. He deserves them. Come on, Shaq, don't sell your big guy short.
Agreed.
He's worth $205 million, okay, $220 million. But nonetheless, defensively, they don't have the versatility to beat any of these teams in the playoffs, and we're talking specifically like LeBron James. LeBron James would pick apart the Utah Jazz. James Harden has picked apart the Utah Jazz in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, it feels that way. Regular season, as much as we love it, and if you're a basketball junkie, we know it doesn't really translate to the postseason. It's the guys who have the stars. To the point you just make about the Nets, the guys that can score and put it in the basket. A guy who keeps winning MVPs, he's a defensive MVP as well. But watching Giannis last night, Ryan, I felt like he doesn't have a spot. You know what I mean? Like certain guys, KD, for instance, like he's going to work himself over that little elbow just inside the line, and that's a spot. He's going to knock it down 98% of the time. At the end of the game last night, Giannis, I don't know what the play was or what the plan was, but it was like he was searching for a spot, and he threw up a clunker. Is that ultimately like – I mean, he's going to win MVPs because this is who he is, but I feel like there's something missing in his game. Do you see that too?
Guys, Ryan Hollins was the villain when I said that Giannis Antetokounmpo was overrated for where people were placing him. People forget that, and that the silence went away, and all my Milwaukee Twitter haters got really, really quiet. Giannis is an excellent, excellent player, but we're going to compare Giannis closer to Shaquille O'Neal rather than a Kobe Bryant. You know, he's going to be more of a and this is a big name. He's going to be more of a Kevin Garnett, Anthony Davis, rather than the LeBron James comparison. That's one that we're going to reserve and hold back on. So Giannis is an excellent player, but he's not a closer. I've been telling you guys this for the last 2 years. He's a dog. He's an animal. He's going to give you all that in a bag of chips except for the fourth quarter. So Giannis is an excellent player. You don't want to take anything away from him, but he's a excellent second piece. You're Scottie Pippen. There's nothing wrong with that. But that's not going to be who he is, guys. And these are strong words. Scottie Pippen wasn't a 2-time MVP and potentially 3-time MVP, but Shaq was. So maybe the numbers compare more to Shaq, but he's going to be your Pippen.
By the way, I totally agree. And on that shot last night, Middleton was wide open in the corner. Yeah. He was wide open for three. It's just baffling to me that a guy – I mean, you win one MVP. There's a lot of guys that have won one. You start getting to that 2, 3, 4 territory. Now it's all-time stuff. And if he ever collects a third, and I don't think he'll win it this year. I think Embiid might at this point. But if he ever wins a third, he's in rarefied territory with Bird, Magic, and a few others. And when you can't close out games on a jump shot or you're a liability at the free throw line, are you really an all-time great?
Listen, Giannis is going to get that all-time great tag when he wins the NBA championship.
But you know what I mean. Like, if you can't finish, how are you an all-time great, right?
No, he's not. I mean, with his career numbers that he's put up, he's going to be a Hall of Famer.
Yes.
He'll be a Hall of Famer. Don't get me wrong. We're not going to say that, but, we're not going to put him in the Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Tim Duncan debate. That's just the truth of the matter. And that's not a bad knock. Yeah. That's not a bad knock to say you were really good, but we're not going to mention you with those guys. It's not going to be a knock at Giannis, and he's an excellent basketball player, but it is tough to teach a guy to shoot and to change a lot of the intangibles. And, he's been kind of coached up to just dunk his way through the league, and then you ask him to do more. So I'm a big Giannis fan. That's not going to change. It's not going to go away. Yeah. But I'm going to pump the brakes when you put him in the LeBron, the Kobe, the Duncan conversation. But I do love his game, and I believe if he can team up with one of those guys, and we were hoping it was going to be Steph Curry, he would be in those talks. He would get all the rewards. Shaquille played with Kobe, and if he didn't have Kobe, Shaq was going to be Giannis in Orlando and struggle away. He was the guy who Shaq made to the NBA Finals and didn't make it through, but he needed that Wade. He needed the Penny. He needed the Kobe Bryant. But that's not a diss to what Shaq is. No one can take that away from him.
Yeah. Now, by the way, was if intentionally omitted? You said when he wins an NBA final. Do you see that happening?
I remain hopeful, man. I like Giannis, man. I remain hopeful.
So do we. We like him, too. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit that bell to be notified when we drop fresh content.